You ready to film another exciting episode of Real Good at Doing Stuff?
I can't wait.
Gotta be more exciting for Tuesday.
I can't wait.
Okay, good. There we go. All right, Real Good Stuff doers, welcome back to another unbelievably exciting episode of Real Good at Doing Stuff. Like, share, subscribe, all that stuff I'm sure you already are. You wouldn't want to have to suffer the repercussions of not being subscribed, so surely you've already taken care of that. But anyhow, today we're going to talk about being real bad at doing stuff. In this business, a lot of times you have to work through problems that are generated by incompetence, and this is one of those days. But anyhow, we frequently have to address issues, and today is no exception. In this case, these heads are some mast heads that have been valve jobbed by this crowd repeatedly, apparently. And what they've done is they've sunk the snot out of this valve job and then done nothing to alleviate the problems that arise when you do that. So one of the curses of being real good at doing stuff is that when you see problems like this, you feel compelled to fix it, even if it's leads to a lifetime of financial mediocrity. Because it's not a good way to make money, but sometimes we got to do this stuff to make it where it's acceptable to myself. All right, so this thing has been valve jobbed repeatedly. We've just valve jobbed it again because we had to, because it had suffered some damage and whatnot. But anyhow, the previous valve jobs, best I can tell, were done for no reason other than to make money. And doing like a set of these heads, when they come to us brand new, the valve job is a pretty figured out thing. Like, it's not some random 5-angle valve job like the guys at Mast or some other companies too, but they really figure that out, so it flows the best and the whole deal works, right? So just even deciding on what cutter and whatnot you're going to use in one of these deals can be something that requires a little bit of expertise. And also setting that cutter up, it requires it's a little tedious. You got to make sure it's right. If you set that cutter up, let's say 5 thousandths inside of where it needs to be, well, guess what? Now it's going to sink your valve job 20 thousandths every time you touch it. This causes big problems. And the other thing is your top cut, how that blends into the chamber. You can really wreck a chamber pretty quick by not getting this all right. And today we're going to try to fix some of these issues. If you look here, see these big steps. This has occurred because they've sunk snot out of this thing, both sides, and never done anything to make this situation any better. Now what we're going to do, you can see, look, this what this does is it just kills, well, it kills all the flow, but especially low lift, right? Normally we'd be, say, 100 thousandths lift or so would be right here. Well, we're still shrouded pretty much. If you'll look, this valve is still below this cut area, right? So all this is just a bad situation. So we're going to cut all this back out. In this case, for whatever reason, these guys have ridiculous compression. It didn't clearance anything. The piston's been smashing into the head. Look at this. All right. So the situation's going to get better. We're going to lose a little bit of compression doing this, but in this case, that's good. We need to get rid of some compression. So we're going to kind of address a lot of issues all at one time. The other thing that this does is on the back side, now you're moving this up. It's, you know, 50, 60 or more thousandths higher than it was. Well, that means you're going to have to look at all the spring shim they got under here. Now, that's not always a bad deal, but some of that is because they've raised things up. Geometry's all different. The valve is significantly higher than it was, right? So when you do this type of, let's just call it what it is, shoddy work, you can cause yourself all kinds of problems. Now, a lot of times the reason people do this type of thing is because it's a quick buck. Heads can come in for a freshen up job and we got a valve job, right? Let's do it. Charge them $400, whatever it is, right? Easy money, right? Doing what I'm going to do today is hard money. It's not easy money. You're not going to make as much money doing this. I can't charge enough to cover what I'm going to do today, but it needs to be done, right? But this is why shops do this. It's a quick buck, and they will murder your heads and charge you for it. So don't let people do this. And the truth is, a lot of times a set of heads like this, we'll run them, make tons of power, maybe hundreds of passes, and we take it apart to freshen it. A lot of times I still won't valve job it because there's nothing wrong with it. It's still in good shape. We'll light the valves, make sure everything looks good, and if it doesn't need it, we don't do it because it's fine, right? So in other words, the valve job is kind of a complicated thing, and a lot of times, even if it's done correctly, it requires a little work in the chamber afterwards to finish the job. So anyhow, enough of my rant for a minute. Let's grind all these things, and I'll show you a little bit of the process in repairing this and trying to get into a little bit better situation. All right, pro tech tip time. This is something that I would almost recommend that you not try at home, because it's very tedious and kind of requires a lot of time with the grinder in your hand to develop the skills needed to do this without touching the valve job. It's really kind of tricky. And I would say that if you've never done this type of thing and you go at this at home and try to do this, there's about a 99% chance that you're gonna touch something that you shouldn't, and you'll have to valve job again, right? Which should obviously be avoided. So it's kind of tricky. I'm not saying don't do it, but really think about it before you do it, or have somebody, a professional, handle this for you. And another thing, when you're getting here real close to the seat and you're polishing things up with a cartridge roll, as you use it, this cartridge roll, I'll show you, gets kind of rounded. And when it's rounded, it's really difficult to get it right up on the seat without touching the seat. So you have two options. One, you can change and use brand new cartridge rolls every little bit, which is expensive, because and there's really nothing wrong with it when it gets rounded. And matter of fact, for some stuff like right here, it's better to be rounded. But when you're getting right up to the edge, you want a hard edge like a new one. So what I do is I just take the grinder, my bench grinder here, turn it on. Need power. Turn my wheel or my grinder on. Stick it in. And there we go. Brand new hard edge. I know my camera's kind of going all over the place, but hopefully you can see what I'm talking about here. This gives you a nice hard edge. Now I can go back in here delicately and finish up the work that I'm doing. All right, so we've done what I would consider kind of the bare minimum for this type of deal. And as you can see, now the valves they're on the seat here. There's nothing shrouding them. So as soon as this guy starts to pop open, we're flowing air in and out, right? Now, another thing that I would say about this is, if you take your heads to kind of a regular machine shop, if there is such a thing anymore, and tell them that you want a valve job and you were to get this type of deal beforehand, what you saw beforehand, then I would say that's kind of fine. Like, they did what they were told to do. They did a valve job, and there's nothing necessarily wrong with that, right? But if you take it to a racing engine builder, right, and this is what they do, then that's where I have an issue with it, right? Because this is obviously making your performance worse, right? And unless you specifically tell them, look, just valve job it, don't worry about how it looks or whatever, then that's different. But like, if a racing engine builder's doing this kind of work, you need to consider finding a different one. And there are plenty that are more than capable of doing this. No problem. That's what they do every day. Any competent racing engine builder or cylinder head guy, this is a daily job for them, right? Anyhow, that's enough of my ranting for today. Like, share, subscribe. Merch is at HarrowEngine.com. We got ridiculous t-shirts and stuff for you guys in there. I'll see you in a couple. We'll be moving on. We got some other projects. Got Jason Digby's motor about to come together for the old tearjerker dart. A lot of things I'm gonna try to get on video. The LS1 runner, we're gonna make some progress with that in the coming days. That's enough for today. Whatever, who cares? Go, go.